Hey there, guys. This is my other what if. It's called What If Asta Had One for All. So I'm gonna make this brief. Asta will get it at a very short age, any a small age. So as explaining how One for All came to be in my Black Clover, Deku was the ninth user, and then he told after the whole world with All for One ended, and he had to pass it on, but there's no problem passing it on. And One for All said it will go to another world to go find a new host to basically pass this power on who needs it more than Deku now since he's at his old age. And besides, Deku's soul is in half of his soul is in it, so basically he's in there. So now it became in the world of Black Clover. It was fighting a suitable host, but once it sees around, the souls are still there, but it sees people having powers that call magic. But in one case, they see a kid with no magic, and it's always not always getting bullied, but always telling you can't be the wizard king without any powers or magic. And then they decide to follow this silver haired boy. I don't know if it's gray or silver. Basically, I think it's gray. Yeah, gray hair, I think. If I'm wrong, tell me in the comments. Yeah, and it went into him, and then when he was in the forest training, basically doing his 100 push-up, sit-ups, and everything, he passed out, and then he was talking to the previous users. But first, the first user said he's already built, so basically at his kid age, he can always it. The user of the Deku's the first one who taught him how to use full cowling, and at his case, full cowling is grayish lightning. So basically, it's like that. So he only can use 5% because since he's a kid, he gonna use 5%. And after training some more and figure out he has other abilities, but in this case, he will get danger sense. Only danger sense for now. No, actually, no, 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 no. He will get float too, just in case. He will get float too, but not Black Whip or Smoke Screen or Fajin. He will not get those yet. He only gets float, danger sense, and basically super strength. It's really not a quirk, but it's like a superpower that powers you up, basically like that. So basically, he gets float and danger sense. So basically, he is basically almost to his canon self in the future about learning ki, but he has danger sense, but it doesn't work all the time, or it will hurt him. So that's why he will still learn ki, but in the future. So he's basically doing his training, learning his abilities, his strength increases by every percent she goes to. So basically, even the days 3 months go by, they're both 8 years old for Yuno and Asta. Yuno does see Asta working harder because in the previous the users do tell Asta to quit that Sister Lily stuff. They do tell him that because it's not gonna work, and they do lay the ground rules to it. So he basically said fine, and because he does know now, Sister Lily doesn't like him like that, but only as a kid. So do notice that, but Sister Lily don't, because she always waiting to him to do that. After training basically some more, he was up to go at least the 8%, at least 8% at his 8 year old age, and people do know he always trains a lot faster now, and um he does learn his shoot style from Deku, and he does learn float from Nana Shimura. So basically, and danger sense for the I don't know what user he was, but danger sense. So basically, he's basically as overpowered as for an 8 year old, and people oh yeah, the part. When went to go do the job for Sister Lily and the father, he basically went there and basically Asta was wondering where Yuno is, and he said he'll go check it out where Yuno is, and he does not dash yet until he heard someone say, "You kid will die," and then he looks over, he see Yuno, and he has Yuno's pendant, and Asta in weird ways will use 5% dash toward the man, and all Yuno could see was a gray blur. I think that's what his hair is. Gray blur lightning hits him, and he said, "Asta, is that you?" And he does get his necklace back and said, "Yeah, this is me." And he said, "Asta, was that your magic?" And Asta hasn't even told the whole family about this abilities yet, because he knows he wants to keep this a secret. But now, since Yudo saw it, he has to tell the truth. So basically, he said, "I will tell you in due time about this power." He's not like more like he's like Deku, kind of like manga Deku, but not all the way. He's not like that level Deku. He's not gonna be like manga Deku. He's still gonna be like his regular self, but he just doesn't have a crush on Sister Lily. So, and after the years of going to age 12, he unlocked 15% of One for All, and his float and danger sense abilities are higher now. And he does train and make special moves with the wind, like the pressure, basically. He jumps and use float, and then start basically flying with it, because since the corks are hands, he can fly by going like, you know how Deku was holding air and he was like literally flying like basically like Goku. Imagine that he can do that now, but only at 15% or any percent he wants. But at this time he's only at 15%. So basically he can fly better. At least he said now he's thinking in his head, now I can not use that freaking broom. And Yuno does train harder since he knows Asta is training harder to become the Wizard King. And one day, the the family does ask, where's Asta, and said probably training in the woods. And this one, this doesn't happen, but they do go in the woods to go see for Asta. And likely story, when Asta was training, he didn't sense them, but he felt someone was watching. So basically, he was training, and then there was a big rock that was coming out there. It was like, Asta, look out. And Asta looked up, and he powered up like at least to 15%. No, actually, no, 10%. And he punched the rock into smithereens. The family is surprised and asked, did he unlock his magic? And, said he was going to tell us about this. Like, he was going to tell me about this and all of us about this sometime. And after he was done warming up, and he said, "Okay, what's up, guys?" And they said, "Asta, did you unlock your magic?" And Asta thought it was about time to tell him. He said, "No. In a way, he does. One for All users in this world knows how to transfer people with magic into his mindscape and tell them what's up. Basically, they did that, and after they was shocked for a minute, even the kids, but after the user explained who they are and where they came from and why they chose Asta, basically. And they said, so Asta's basically a 10th user, and who was the ninth? They looked over, and they see a young Izuku, like almost like Asta's height, and he said that will be me. And they said, how old was you? And then he said, around 18 or 19 or 15, basically. And he said, wow, how long have you learned how to use your powers? At first, I wasn't. And second, I only used like 5 or 8% of this power, and I went to 100% and 20%. But since I learned from my mistakes, I got over 100% of this power. So basically, I'm telling Asta. Basically, Asta is in the smoke, so he can't basically talk. And after the Izuku explained why basically Asta is so training is so good. Unlike Izuku explained because he was taught and teaching Asta how to use it right, and he was growing at a massive rate. Izuku might say he might even hit 20% or 30% of this power, and he hasn't mastered the other abilities yet. And they were shocked that this power chose Asta, and there was like past souls of this, and it came to their world. They looking at Asta in the smoke, and Asta is not surprised, but he knows. After they got the mindscape, after that explained, they was wondering, can Asta be the Wizard King now? But Asta said, I do have to keep the secret from everybody, but if it's my squad, I will tell them the truth. Because if I can trust them, I will trust them. And they do agree to that. Now, is wondering, can he really beat Asta? But he said, no matter what, Asta, I'm still gonna be the Wizard King. And Asta said, bet. And then after 3 more years, Asta and is now 15. Actually, no, no, nah, nah, nah. Nah, actually, it resumed usual. But in this case, Asta is training so much it became like hold on, I'll show you. Remove the black blues clothes and Asta looks basically like this at his age 15. Basically buff without the scars and nothing. Basically like that. And after this like huge time skip, basically you can get your grimoires at age 15, I think, or 16. I think 16, basically, I think. So basically at that time, Asta is at least at 20, 30, and 40% of One for All. And basically he has danger senses at 100%, and he only uses it at 50%. Float is basically 50. Basically, since he was training with these powers, he got them basically good, and now unlikely he unlocked Fajin. That's literally a stronger version than like hmm, basically he unlocked Fajin, and Fajin is like more dangerous than you literally go 100% doing a smash. So basically he has to keep that like a low multiplier. So basically, yeah, he has to keep that more like low multiplier basically. So basically, he unlocks that, and so basically, it Grimoire similarly, everything rolls as usual, but Asta gets the 5 Grimoire still, and they still clear to be the Wizard King. But it assumes like in canon, but since Asta gets his weapons and plus one for all, he can beat that mage instantly. And everything goes similar. And this is like when the morning they train together. So basically, Asta does help out with training, and does help him out with his danger sense to keep up his speed and fast reflexes and flying basically. So basically, they are ready for the exams, and this is where I'm gonna cut it off. So tell me if you guys like it, and I will make more challenges for Asta in the story that I go through. So tell me when you get ready for that. So peace.